loss of a mind is a terrible thing, but this time, I think I'll make an exception.
My powers, they're draining. Just like Mizora said they would. A small price to pay in the grand scheme of things.
It's over. It's truly over.
And we didn't even have to turn into mind flayers to do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to, well, you know.
Even when my time in the prism stretched out like eternity, when escape seemed impossible, I never lost hope. I knew that my destiny was to liberate my people, to return to them triumphant. I was wrong. It seems I can only fulfill one part of my destiny. My people will be liberated, but I cannot return to them. Not like this. You helped me destroy that abomination. Now help me destroy myself. You must kill me. But first, Lyssa, I need your promise. Carry my hope. Carry my burden. Call my dragons, Kulos and Kuthos, and ride to the Astral Sea. Destroy Vlaakith. Release our people. Be our future and our legacy.
This is your choice to make, Lyssa, not mine. I entrust it to you.
Duty. All my life, I've traveled in its slipstream, not once questioning its path. In its service, I came here. And now, I will carry your hope, Prince Orpheus, and I will carry your burden. But to that burden, I must add my own. The loss of those I leave behind.
Lach crashed Makvlek. So be it. Now, give me my freedom from this form.
I guess I'm gonna kill him and give him the honorable death he craves.
Gitka Tavkim crashed.
Kulos! I can never forget you. Your name will be etched in our slates. You will be called Mlagir, Liberator. To the skies!
The Githyanki are leaving us. An unlikely place to find ourselves, fighting on the same side as them.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city. Smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt. But it seems that Gale's mind is elsewhere.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Chiontha. If I salvage the stones, I can reforge it. The power of Karsus would be in my hands. But what then? What would I do with it once I have it?
Such power was not meant for mortals. Retrieve the crown and give it to Mystra as she asked.
Sage and timely counsel as always. And I intend to heed it. A wise man learns from his mistakes and strives not to repeat them. I shall bring the crown to Mystra. She'll cure me of my affliction. And I'll finally be free.
Better yet, you'll be your chosen again.
And a more deserving one this time around. If this adventure has taught me anything, is that there are things in this world far more valuable than power. Besides, growing quite fond of this merry band of ours, but I'd quite like to see what happens to it. I'm sure Mystra will summon me soon enough, but until then, I propose we celebrate our victory the mortal way, with a drink in our hands and reckless abandon in our hearts.
I am seldom one to imbibe, but even I shall make an exception on a day like today. I think we have earned it, no?
A celebration sounds perfect.
Yes. We should see if the elf song's still standing. I won't imbibe, but I'll be happy to be away from here. And in your company. I honestly don't mind what we do once we get to the... Ow! What the... Oh, no. Oh, God. Well, it was nice when it lasted. Ah! I'm sorry. I have to go.
Astarion's days in the sun are behind him. The best you can hope is that he finds darkness and the comfort it once gave him. Knowing him, he probably will. Comfort was always one of his specialities, especially when it was his own.
We did it, soldier. The city's going to be all right. And so are you. Engine's finally cooked. Held on just long enough. So, how'd I do?
You were spectacular in every way.
So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. It's the one thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye.
No, stop. I won't allow this. Karlach, you're coming with me. Back to Avernus. We can't let her die. Not like this. Not now.
You can't.
Go, Karlak. We will be with you. You won't be alone, and will be with you. You won't be alone anymore.
So, what do you say? Die here now, or live on with the blade of Avernus at your side. Zariel won't touch you. I swear it, Karlak.
Fine. I'll go. Well, with you. But we have to go. Now. I can't hang on much longer.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid Empire, no Death God's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Hello, darling. I was just thinking about freedom. How I'm free of the parasite. Free of Cazador. How I'll never be in someone's power again. And all it cost was my life in the sun. Now I belong to the shadows. So, what happens next?
We make a good team. Let's be heroes together.
We are rather good together, aren't we? I never saw myself as a hero, but fighting alongside you has been special. Maybe we could make a difference out there. Although, I do need to ask. Is that what you want? Is this what you want? I would understand if you wanted to go your own way.
No, this is what I want.
Good. Because, selfless as I am, I really did not want to let you go. We are rather excellent together, you know. And united, there is nothing we can't do. I can't say what the future holds for us, but I know we'll be facing it together. And we're going to have a lot of fun.
Well, soldier. Here we are. It worked. My engines calmed down. I shouldn't have let you come here. This isn't going to be easy, you know. Zariel's going to come at us with everything she's got. Gods. Like clockwork. They'll be on us soon. But there's just enough time. Thought I was done with these. But then, there was you. Imps are fast, but careless. Don't let them tire you out. Just get rid of them. Don't forget. You asked for this. Better let these fuckers know I'm back. And this time, I'm not alone.
Since the Netherbrain fell, you and Astarion have seen more of Faerun than you ever thought possible. One night, he tells you that these last 6 months of happy memories are the counterweight to 200 years of misery. The next day, you receive an invitation written in a frail hand, inviting you to a gathering back in the place where your journey together began. A chance to meet with the friends and allies who were by your side in the battle against the Absolute.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
Last time I heard the Ballad of the Endless Spring performed.
Friend? Friend! You came! Big Brother Scratch, too! Happy.
You're a lot bigger than Scratch now.
Yes, big! But Scratch is smart. Teaches me many things. Like Big Brother.
I'm glad Withers brought you here.
Withers? No. You smell very delicious. Follow smell, find you.
What have you been doing since last we met?
Lots. Make friends with a turtle, a cat, a kraken. Kraken eats my cat friend, so I bite, kill. With shiny clothes, I am strong. Tired now. Want sleep. Want cave.
It sounds like you need someone to look after you. How about Shadowheart?
Nice lady. She gives pets and tasty things. I like her. I go to her.
Now, my dear friend, it's been an age, has it not? You're looking very well indeed. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post.
Have you come seeking a statement for your next tell-all?
Oh, I wouldn't bother you with such things during a party. And anyway, I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me. What do you think?
I love it, presuming I'm the hero.
Oh, that would be telling, wouldn't it? But believe you me, my friend, not a word could have been written without you. Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you can just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you. Hmm? Ah, your success really has been wonderful for my reputation. But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
You see, Boo? I told you our friend was near.
A familiar sight. Scratch can't quite speak around the thing he has in his mouth.
What have you got this time, Scratch?
I found this. It smelled like you, so I kept it. Seemed like something you might like to throw.
I'd be happy to. But first, how have you been?
Oh, I've been so good. I've got a nice home in the city now. A girl named Mindy says I'm her best friend. She's mine too. Also you and Albert. I've got so many best friends, I hardly know who to play with.
I'm so glad to hear you fared well since our travels together.
I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you.
For 2 months I trained the Knights of the Comet. For 2 more I skewered Kithraki bellies. And for 2 more yet, I traveled through Limbo. I never imagined we'd be standing toe-to-toe on this day, in this place. Nothing but allies, I always told myself. A necessary partnership. But in spite of every strained word, every barbed glance, seeing you brings me even more pleasure than taking a Royal Inquisitor's head.
You're looking a little bit less solid than I expected.
A bit. It's taken a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 2 10 days of effort to conjure my projection. Worth it, I'd say. I miss this place. This... Fey Run.
Your efforts to topple Blackith are well underway, then.
We've spilled blood, gained a foothold in the astral, but still we need allies. And one beyond reckoning has made itself known. Zerith Minyaragith.
Ziarith Manyanargith? What is that?
Not a what, but a who. The immortal god king of the Githzerai. An exiled people. Once kin with mine, until the madness of civil war ripped our one sky into 2. Our Gish sent word of the rebellion to Minyaragith through the cosmos. He's agreed to parley. It's fallen to me to secure an alliance.
Hold on. The great warrior Lyssa on a diplomatic mission?
Exactly the reaction I expected. My blade as keen as ever. But it was you who showed me that a proper victory doesn't always require a razor-sharp edge. Sometimes, a sincere plea is more persuasive than a dagger against the neck. Minyara Gith is an ascetic. He reached out in good faith. This is his way. It is in this spirit that I must meet him. And if he refuses, I carry on. Gravity pulls me in but one direction. I am the comet. I will not rest until I burn Vlaakith's bones to ash and smash her phylactery to pieces. My people will be free. But you've heard that refrain before. Zealous, bossy, insistent. All part and parcel of my undeniable charm.
When will I see you again?
Soon. When the comet has risen. When the Lich Queen has crumbled to dust. I miss this place. More to the point, I miss you. I wouldn't even deny it with Vlaakith's vorpal blade at my neck. Though, I'd rather it not come to that. Now go. Mingle a bit. That's the word, right? Mingle. I'll be back one day. The Overgod himself couldn't keep me away.
Looking hotter here.
Not. Boo! We are not dreaming. It is our old friend.
It's good to see you too, Minsk.
Oh, and it is good to be seen. Oh, after so many days down in the dark, Minsk began to wonder if he was some blind bug who had only dreamed himself to be large and bulksome. You will forgive the aroma, I hope. We were not expecting the Dusty One to open a portal to our very cell. Boo had a moment to lick himself clean, but there is a little too much of Minsk to cover.
You were in a cell? What for?
Minsk and Boo have been helping, of course. We guard the streets, while Jaheira is occupied with harperish matters. The Zentarum rule the city's underbelly, so Minsk and Boo went to give them a tickle. There were harsh words, battle cries, some manner of head wound. We awoke in a Zentish cell, awaiting trial by noble combat. Execution, says Boo, though I am not sure of the difference. It is a long walk to the gallows, and Minsk still has his fists, no?
You're gonna get yourself killed. You can't fight everyone you disagree with.
Minsk and Boo agree to disagree. But leave such matters for the morn. Tonight is for celebration and the telling of tales. How have you filled your days since we tore this sticky tyrant from the sky?
Just living my life, now that I found someone to live it with.
Aha, the lovebirds still nest together then? Minsk is glad. For what is life without a companion? Though I am thinking yours does not sit on your shoulders, eh? Ah, you are right, Boo. That is, none of Minsk's business. There is much merriment to be made before the night is done. Go, and greet the others. Minsk shall make himself presentable. Ah, this pond shall do nicely, Boo. Though I see no soap. So you shall have to blow the bubbles for me.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God! He wasn't kidding. Withers, you mad bastard! You brought me back! Soldier. It's really you. I've missed you, man. Like, I've really missed you. And you're so clean.
I've missed you too.
I'd say so. Can't think of who's been carrying your pack now that Kay's out of commission. Man, we had some good times. Wish Will and I had more time to reminisce, but surviving Avernus is just non-stop. Still, having him there has been incredible. You really can get through anything with someone you love at your side. Oh, but hey, guess what we found? Cambion dropped a map with directions and blueprints for Zariel's own private forge. A fucking forge! Our current plan is to get in, grab a smith, and force him to fix old Rusty. Or maybe give me a brand new model that can live outside of Avernus. You haven't seen the last of old Karlak yet, soldier.
I am so glad to hear that you might be able to fix your heart. You must be so happy.
Trying not to count my owlbears before they've hatched. But the thought of coming back to Baldur's Gate keeps me going. Can I look you up when I'm out?
You had better. I'll hunt you down myself.
Hey, that would be kind of fun, though. High stakes hide and seek. Honestly, I'd be curious to see if you could land a blow or two. Gods, is it good to see you again. To be here, together. Hard not to get used to it all over again. This won't be the last time. I promise.
Well now. You can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to.
That makes one of us.
Oh, forgive me. I am simply excitable. It is good to be out under an open sky once more. My first, since the reconstruction began. We left quite a mess behind. But the city begins to look something like itself once more. Same twisting alleys for purse pickers. Same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon. Same cisterns overflowing. Huh.
It's a kip, but it's our kip. I wouldn't change a thing.
Baldurians simply get on with it. Stubbornness, civic spirit, plain stupidity. Perhaps all three, but nothing I will sniff at any longer. Harpers have come from half the world over to lend aid. Farmers, masons, healers. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already he plans crop cycles in Worm's Crossing. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. To organize the craftsmen. Though she spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing aid funds. They might learn a thing or two, if they don't expel her. Again.
Wait, you have children?
Ah, yes. Forgive me. There wasn't much time to offer hospitality with an elder brain looming over the city. They ask about you, of course. But I keep them a little too busy for stories. Ah, there is still much to do. People to house. A Harper network to rebuild. I may have little love for this city. But so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less. For all your travels, I hope you have arrived where you want to be. Home. Whatever that means to you.
My home is with Astarion.
Ah, sentiment. With the greatest affection, I can think of better ways to sour our stomachs. I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know. Some ne'er-do-well might have tampered with the wine.
There you are. Well, well. Look what the Tressim dragged in. Professor Gale Decarius of Blackstaff Academy. Educator of the esteemed School of Illusion. A pleasure to remake your acquaintance.
I see Mystra didn't smite you in the end.
She did not. I'm delighted to report. I surrendered the crown of Carsus to her, as I told you I would. And in return, she cured me of the orb at last. Even now, I struggle to put the feelings into words. It was like exhaling for the first time after holding my breath for so very long. Of course, I haven't clarified with my students that the orb is no longer a threat. The legend of my explosive capabilities is an excellent means of controlling a classroom. Too good, if anything. I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can be. But it'd be easier to crack a smile on an intellect devourer than some of my pupils.
Don't worry, I can say from experience, you're an excellent teacher.
Ah, so you still remember our little lesson. It was quite something to share such a moment with you, though it vanished all too quickly. You were, of course, indulging me in submitting to such a lesson. Teaching you was hardly an effort at all. Not like my present cohort of apprentices. Oh, they try their best, of course, when they can manage to stay awake. And what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned?
I found the love of my life. I'd say I'm pretty happy.
And I couldn't be happier for you. A fitting reward for the sacrifices you made in getting here. I've told my students plenty of tales about our escapades. You're something of a hero to them, you know? I'd be delighted to introduce you to my current cohort as a guest lecturer, perhaps. I'm sure they'd have plenty of questions for you.
It would be my pleasure.
Excellent. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist the allure of sharing your expertise. Of course, you'll be most welcome to stay with me in my tower. It will give us plenty of time to catch up on your adventures. I'm very curious to know what you've been up to these past months. But I suspect the telling of that tale would keep you tied to me all evening. So, in the spirit of selflessness, I encourage you to mix and mingle for now, with time enough to come.
Why is the night air always sweeter?
Perhaps the bard knows some of my favorites. Unless my taste in music is too antique, of course. You made it! You would think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more.
The feeling's mutual. I've missed you.
We have all pined for each other's company, I sense. I cannot imagine otherwise after what we shared. That bond was forged in a crucible that can never be stoked again, Oak Father willing. It is a bond that can weather any distance, any passage of time. I know it can, for I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day.
You sound like you need a hug.
I always do. Should I ever decline, assume a doppelganger has taken my place. That was more than worth the wait.
You can say that again.
That was more than worth the wait? Oh, I suppose you didn't mean that literally. Now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing.
I could listen to you talk all day, but if you insist.
Please, spare no details. I shall not lie. I have an ulterior motive in wishing to hear all. It is the children, you see. My charges. Their appetite for bedtime tales is greater than I could ever have anticipated. Another story, Daddy Halsin. Another is the chorus that greets me each nightfall. They have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake.
All right, let me see what I have.
I am all ears. Though I never cared for that phrase. A rather unsettling image.
I'm going to regale Halsin with tales of my past 6 months.
You have kept yourself busy. I expected no less, in truth. I shall be able to keep the children enthralled for a few more nights yet, thanks to you. And should you wish to retell of your exploits in person, well, I shall not object to a night off. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening, as much as I would like to. I shall leave you to the others for now, unless there was anything else.
Tell me how you've been faring. You went to form a new settlement, didn't you?
Our community grows rapidly. In 6 months, we have turned what was once a shadowy wasteland into a true home for all. In another 6 months, I would wager the scars of the past will be entirely invisible, even to those who remember them. The old masonry of Moonrise Towers and Rythwin have been repurposed into new homes, and the land is rich with harvests and bountiful trees. Nature and civilization are in harmony, stronger together.
I recall you had quite a few young wards to take care of. 9 wagons of them, wasn't it?
Ah, my greatest purpose and greatest reward. Those children have been through more than fate had any right to cast at them, and yet they go on as resilient as anything in nature. I impart what knowledge I can to them, yet, in truth, they teach me far more. The land we saved is theirs, and they will cherish it, I'm sure. Thaniel and Oliver shall never want for friends again.
I'm glad you're happy.
As am I. I may age more slowly than most, but I do believe I've gained some new laughter lines of late.
Tell me about Thaniel and Oliver. Do you see much of them?
Quite often. They come and go as they please, but with so many playmates to avail of, they are far from strangers. They ask after you often. What you did for them will never be forgotten. I can see it in the land all around me. But more importantly, I see it in their faces whenever they visit. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods, as far as I'm concerned.
Still partial to roaming in bear form, I take it?
I spend half my days in ursine form. The children demand it. I had a score of them taking turns riding upon my back just days ago. I'm glad they are so comfortable with the Oakfather's creations. But they must learn that Not all are as amiable as I am. A lesson for another time, though. They deserve some joy. As for roaming, that impulse has dwindled, I must admit. Perhaps because I have found where I am meant to be.
What of the Grove? Do you stay in touch?
On occasion, but I prefer not to interfere. Francesca of the High Forest is Archdruid now, and by all accounts, she has proven to be a steady and wise influence. Even Korga may yet find true balance, thanks to her influence.
May I have a hug?
By all means. Your embrace makes me feel safer than any armor could.
I wouldn't say no to a kiss.
I was hoping you'd ask. You are more intoxicating than any fare this gathering has to offer. Before you go, I have something for you. Just a little keepsake, really. Do you remember how I told you I like to whittle? I made this. Ducks are my favorite, but I thought they were particularly fitting in this case. They are migratory birds, of course, traveling far and wide with the turn of the seasons. Yet, they always find their way back to where they belong. Just like old friends find themselves back in each other's company.
You're a sentimental creature at heart, you know that?
Oh, I am well aware, trust me. Now, I've taken up enough of your time. Go on, enjoy the festivities.
Nice to return to familiar environments.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up.
Are you joking? I've been counting down the days.
Honestly? So have I. Oh, come here, will you? It's been forever. You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it.
I'll take that as a compliment. You look good too.
I suppose I do, don't I? I'm glad you seem well. Trudy.
Tell me what you've been up to.
Wandering, mostly. The adventuring life is almost a tonic when you're not constantly threatened by brain monsters and cultists. I can finally see the world beyond the cloister.
Come on, tell all. Where have you been? What have you seen?
One of my first stops was the House of the Moon in Waterdeep. It's the largest temple of Selûne in existence. It seemed like the perfect spot to reflect on my parents, on where they came from. And where I came from too, I suppose. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Me, of all people, in the lair of the Moon Witch herself. Gods, you're truest act of heroism was putting up with all that char and drivel I was spouting for so long.
Your parents would be proud of you.
Oh, I know they are. I can still sense them, I think. And one day we'll be reunited.
What else have you been doing?
Well, I've had run-ins with my former fellow Sharans on a couple of occasions. Word seems to have spread of what happened at the cloister. Now other chapters of Shar worshippers see me as a prime target to offer up to their lady as a sacrifice. Don't worry. I know their tired old tricks better than anyone. They'll need more than a hooded cloak and poisoned blade to best me. Especially when I have a friend on the inside keeping me abreast of their predictable little plans.
A friend on the inside? You mean Nocturne?
None other. The matter of her faith and allegiances remains complicated, let's say. But she is still my oldest friend. I have hopes that perhaps she might turn from Shar entirely given time. But that's a decision she will have to make for herself. If that day comes, I'll be ready.
What's next for you?
I don't know. Which is just the way I like it just now. Perhaps I'll just stick a pin in a map and see what I find, or head to the docks in the morning and scrounge a berth to find somewhere new. I'd like to see the islands, maybe, or head south to Arm. I heard there's an enclave of werecats that hunt the followers of dark gods by moonlight. I'd love to see if there's any truth to that. But enough about me. What have you been up to?
I have a confession to make. I may have volunteered you for something.
Is that so? And what liberties did you decide to take, exactly?
I was hoping you might like a new companion. A rather large, feathered, well-mannered mostly.
The owlbear. Of course I'll have him. If he wants to come with me, that is. I'd have offered sooner, but everything was a blur after the battle. I thought he'd gone to roam free. Are you sure he'd want to join? I'm not exactly settled anywhere right now. It could be dangerous at times.
Hardly anything new for either of you. He'll love it, I'm sure.
All right, then. It's settled. Oh, the things we'll get up to. Don't be a stranger.
It's just so goddamn beautiful here!
If not over, then through.
To the hero of the realms, we have followed your adventure closely. From the day you fell from the doomed Nautiloid to the final blow you struck the nether brain as it loomed over the Sword Coast. We are but a humble guild who pride ourselves in telling stories, not unlike the tales to be written for you many years to come. How inspired we have been to witness your feats awesome and terrible, the lives you've saved and sundered, the friendships you've found. Thus we thought to extend a greeting. To thank you for adventuring with such creative determination, such panache, enough to touch the hearts of each of our number. With deepest gratitude, the Guild of Great Genius. To an old acquaintance, I write to you from the sunny porch of the Last Light Inn. A light breeze blows now and then. People are milling in and out. Builders, visitors, the children of all ages in Halsin's care. I can no longer hold a quill or eat without assistance. A kind friend is transcribing this for me. Daniel, rejoined with Oliver, has promised to be with me when the end comes, as our old songs drift on the wind ever louder. I know I have mere days left, but I do not fear it. If not for your help, this land would still be shrouded in darkness, and I'd still be lost within it. Know that my heart is full and happy. I am grateful for my last moments. Do visit sometime, and if you have time to stop by an old Flaming Fist's grave, I know I'd love to see you. Art Color. Salutations.
Whole gang is here.
I'm
Wish
ready.
I'd had time to polish up the horns.
I'm ready to request your help in a mysterious case that has arisen since our little Balian bash half a year ago. Regrettably, I've had to take the credit for dispelling the Baal cult, in your absence, you understand, and I'm working on routing the remaining Baalist from our fair city, with the newly promoted Blaze Devella Fountainhead in tow, of course. This has made me a target. A false document bringing my name into ill repute has been made public. An alleged unpaid bar tab at the Elf Store. If you happen to be passing through with a bindle of coin, perhaps you could persuade the management of my obvious innocence. Much obliged. Investigator Valia, Sleuth of Helm. P.S. Any advice on getting Ballast blood out of cloth? My hat's not been the same since the murder tribunal. Hello, friend. I'm sorry it's been so long. It turns out running a school of bards is a touch more tricky than I thought. Who knew bards were so dramatic? I bought a small rundown house in the lower city and spent weeks putting down floors, replacing the windows. Turns out I'm quite handy with a hammer and nail. When I was relatively sure the roof would hold, I decided it was time to open. I put up posters and took out an advertisement in the Baldur's Mouth. Gods, I was so nervous. I kept having nightmares that no one would show. But my goodness, did they. Children from patterers to peddlers lined the street. The queue almost went to Rivington. Turns out being friends with the hero of Baldur's Gate has its upsides. I'm teaching night and day and fall into bed utterly exhausted every night. And I've never been happier. Thank you, my friend. Lots of love, Althera. Hey you, it's Arabella. You remember me, right? Bone Man said once I needed to find balance. Where creation meets ruin, where morning meets midnight, the root of all being. Fancy talk. He was right, though. After I touched that idol in the grove, it was like a big tree started to grow in my head, and all these weird thoughts and feelings and powers sprouted in its branches like big black leaves. I had to figure myself out, so I followed the weave, like the Bone Man said. I don't know how I knew what to do. I just did. After you squished the brain, Beard Man showed up. Said the weave led him to me, and me to him. He's teaching me how to make sense of all the leaves in my head tree. He said I need to use magic responsibly. He also says not to call him Beard Man. I think it's Elminster. I'll let you know how it goes.
Cool, fresh air.
After so long in the vampire's cell, I'd almost forgotten how to write. Never mind what to write. But what can you say to the person who unlocked your cage and gave you your life back? Or gave us some kind of life, at least. After you killed Cazador and opened our cells, we fled into the Underdark. There were thousands of us, a ravenous wave, mad with freedom and lust for blood. And gods did we find blood. We swarmed every monster and unfortunate in our path, drinking what we could. We lost hundreds along the way, some to beasts, but most just disappeared into the dark. It wasn't easy, but eventually Cazador's house spawn calmed us and took control. Found some old ruins we could call home, and we've been there ever since, building new lives for ourselves. We're not free down here. The dark will chain us forever, but we aren't the prisoners we once were either, and that's thanks to you. You looked into our cages and saw people, not monsters. And here down in the shadows, we're trying to live up to that. Thank you, now and forever, Sebastian. Dear friend, I doubted you for so long. Perhaps you knew that already in spite of my best attempts. You've proved yourself time and time again. At Joaquin's Rest, in Moonrise Towers, and Worm's Rock, and I doubted. The Netherbrain's defeat should have proven your courage. Yet I was more doubtful than ever. This was a ruse, a dream, a trick. And then one eve, from the elf song, I heard it, singing, a raunchous, lewd, tuneless, drunken refrain. I'd never heard anything more terrible and more beautiful. I raised my voice and joined the chorus. That was the moment all my doubts melted away and were replaced by something more valuable, hope. Baldur's Gate will be whole again. I may have doubted you, but you never did. With profound admiration, Floric.
I'm glad for it. For this.
Greetings, to the Spawn Astarian. Greetings from the family of Alma, hunters of monsters and keepers of peace across Faerun. We know this letter finds you well, for although we hunt you no longer, we do sometimes keep a watch. Your restraint and control over your bloodlust has been admirable. Indeed, it has been an inspiration for her children, who have struggled with their own hunger. These last months have been a difficult time for our people. We have protected and nurtured our children as best we can, and we have learned so much. Herbs we once used to dull our foe's mind are now sedatives to ease hunger and pain. Restraints built to hold the undead now protect them from themselves. There has been a lot of pain, but a lot of progress, too. Our children learned discipline and control, while we learned compassion and patience. There was a time when we would have destroyed any undead creature, be our own blood or not, and called it a mercy. But then we met you. We saw that redemption was possible. Difficult, yes. Painful, but possible. You saved our children from Cazador, and then from us. For that, we thank you. We will watch you still, but with more admiration than fear. Walk in peace, Astarian.
Some fish heads and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
To whom it may concern, Withers gave me the address and said I should consider writing. While I considered it, return addresses included. Best, Barkus Root.
Withers has laid out quite a spread of food, for one comprising mostly of bone. Perhaps he wishes to live vicariously through the attendees' appetites.
Hey there. Would you mind passing this to Karlak? Thanks, I'm Mill. Karlak, if you're reading this, you're alive. One way or another, you found a way. Thank the gods. I think of you often. Wonder what's become of you. Write to me, won't you? Please? Yours faithfully, Damon.
Keen eye for a nice vintage. Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these?
Gale, my boy, I can only apologize for my absence from Wither's little gathering. As you know, only the most urgent of business will keep me from indulging myself in his excellent taste in sweetmeats. And your esteemed company, of course. I was delighted to hear that you have come to your senses. I have delighted to hear that you have come to your senses in regards to the cursed crown, and delighted yet further when I learned that the orb's malingering presence no longer poses any threat. In that sense, at least, I hope you feel Mystra treated you fairly. I trust you're enjoying your adventures. I have to say, I struggle to picture you outside of Waterdeep, or your library for that matter. Wherever your escapades take you, be sure to keep your larder well provisioned. After all, no one never knows when an old friend might drop by. Elminster. Dear Shadowheart, I hope that you are happy and well. I must keep this short, as I remain surrounded by Shar's followers at almost every waking moment in my new enclave. I dearly wish for you to enjoy your night spent with friends, and I hope that you and I shall share such a reunion. I know it must seem strange for me to dwell on such heretical thoughts, yet I cannot help myself. Perhaps one day I shall find some measure of the bravery that you did, and walk away from this life. Until then, I shall keep safe, and hold memories of you as my one ember of light amid an ocean of darkness. Until we find each other once again, yours always, Nocturne. Shellac. Orpheus may not be with us, but the comet shines ever bright. Breath by breath, battle by battle, blackest death draws near. I have taken to the astral plane, slaughtered all who must be slaughtered, and spread the hair's truth to every possible heir, willing and unwilling. Many Githyanki have already taken up arms as warriors of the comet. Others have remained in their enclaves or traveled to creches, dedicated themselves to our cause as scribes, spies, and slate scholars. But our allies do not call themselves children of Gith. Zareth Menarag Gith, the Githzari's God King, has requested an audience. There was a time I would have thought such a coalition unspeakable, but the Githzari at our side, not even the full force of Kilraki could stop us. If Lackless is to fall, perhaps the two skies must once again be made one. And that's from Voss, the Night of the Comet. Wait, who's this from? This is a letter from Hope. I had a dream last night. Not that there are any nights here, or any days. It was a dream about you, all of you, and you were here with me, and I had to serve bread and jam and oat crackers and cheeses and enough tea to quench a desert. You nibbled and sipped and smiled and laughed, and you asked if I was happy. Nobody has asked that for so long. I don't know if anybody has ever asked at all. I don't have the words to answer, so instead I led you through my house and showed you all the souls that are here with me. They were Raphael's once, but now they belong to themselves. The archive is an art gallery, the boudoir is a grand kitchen, and the dungeon is a refuge for any wounded soul or creature that finds its way to us. Am I happy? I don't know, but I am Hope, and I persist because of you.
Withers has a keen eye for a nice vintage.
This is from Mayrina. I thought I'd reach out first for once. I finally had my baby, a beautiful boy. I can't believe I ever thought of giving him up. He screams his head off half the night, and I barely slept, but I am the happiest I've ever been. Other than my wedding day, of course. I decided to name him Connor, after his dad. With Ethel gone, myself and some other hag survivors have started our own publishing house. We've only printed a few pamphlets so far, but I'm halfway through my first book. Me, an author! It's like something out of a dream. Mind you, it's all about how to kill hags, but you know what they say, write what you know. With every pamphlet we publish, more people show up to our support groups. As happy as that makes me, it breaks my heart to see how much harm Ethel did. But so long as I live, another hag won't set foot in Baldur's Gate. You have my word. Anyway, the reason I'm writing isn't just to talk your ear off, it's to say thank you for saving a scared young girl who thought she'd be a terrible mother. I couldn't have been more wrong. Next time we meet, pints are on me. Mayrina. This is from Nine Fingers. I'm not much for leaving my city, but it does gladden a girl's heart to be asked to the ball, so I thank you for that. In my place, except a few casks of fine vintage that managed to roll their way down from the upper sea in all the commotion. The rebuilding has given rise to many such happy opportunities, worth discussing over a more civilized drink in my guild hall. If you find yourself at loose end, enjoy the muck and see if you can get the High Harper to sing. You won't be disappointed. This is from Zevlor. I hope my penmanship has improved somewhat in the past months. When I first stumbled into the city, I shook so badly I could scarcely hold the soup that the priest pressed into my hands, let alone write and thank you as you deserve. It is only when the city itself began to shake that I felt my hands grow still. Along with the other veterans sheltering at the temple, discards of Ethral's unworthy legions, I watched that monstrosity rise over the city. We felt no fear, only anger, disgust, purpose, and with it, power. I do not know what oath we cling to now, or how long it will last, but we shall use it to ensure that this city will not suffer as Elturel did, whether it wants us or not. It is more than thanks alone that I owe. No words can make amends for what I did to my people. But that is as it should be. More come to the temple every day to aid in the relief efforts. And if I am permitted to work alongside them, I am content. Come over and see us when you can. Zevlor. Harp stamped letter. My friend, I hope this finds you wherever you are. I just want to thank you, and best favor. I'm to be made a watcher. The High Hopper put me forward to the Harper Council for service to the city. I'm not sure what that means, but I know that if it wasn't for you, I'd be back monkeying out my mother's yard. I am permitted to bring one guest to the ceremony, who will name me as Watcher before the council. You spoke for me once before. I understand you're probably busy, but I would be honored if you do it again. I await your reply whenever you can, or hopefully soon. Hopper Geraldus.
Already feeling better.
This is nice. Yes. I think that's the right word for it.
Let's have a look.
Good song, good company, and good wine from the looks of it.
Oh, it smells so good here.
Oh, right. You. Hello.
You must be Tara. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm certain it is. As for you, well, I've heard congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dicarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right?
Actually, Gale helped me.
That doesn't sound like him. But whichever way you want to remember it, well done, I suppose. You ought to come visit myself and Gale when you're able, if you can extract yourself from what I'm sure are very important responsibilities.
I'd quite like that. Thanks for the invitation.
We'll send word by pigeon when we've need of you. I used to have a taste for them, but a great many things have changed in recent months. Ta-ta, darling.
The past made present. I'm glad for it.
This has a
For this.
for a nice painting. Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these? God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
A beautiful night. I wish it could last forever.
Look at this place. At us. This is the best party I've ever been to.
And how have our friends fared without us?
They seem happy, really.
I'm glad. It would be so easy to go through everything we did and come out the other side bitter and twisted. But they deserve happiness. We all do. And I will forever be grateful to have found it with you.
I'm going to hug him.
I do feel a little bad keeping you all to myself. After all, I get to see you every night. Go on, go mingle. Enjoy your time with the others. Bless them with your presence. I'll be here when you're ready. I'll always be here, my love.
Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these? God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get...
Here we go.
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice.
You seem glum. I thought bards were meant to be full of pep and joy.
I find it hard to summon up the trademark pep these days. You have no idea who I am, do you? I thought Withers might have set the stage a little.
How do you know Withers?
I owe him a favor, one he is eternally invoking. I thought honoring the worthy was a fair price to pay for Withers to pull me out of the fugue plane. Alas, one purgatory to another.
What were you doing in the fugue plane?
Languishing in obscurity. Cyric knew what he was doing when he punished me for that song, the prick. Before I was banished to the fugue plane, I had song prayers coming out the proverbial ears. Guess how many I get now? None. I'm washed up, I'm afraid.
In that case, I'll leave you in quiet to your terrible fate.
Suppose I'll get back to it then.
This one night is like any other, and yet different. Thou art the savior of Baldur's Gate, until such time it requires saving again. How dost thou feel?
I think I've caught up with everyone. What comes next?
What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready. For thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving.
To the greatest friends I could dream of.
To you. There thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou sought to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools. Everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals. I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.